This grilling season, don't just fire up the barbecue. Elevate it with meats from around the globe, delivered straight to your door by the Butcher Shoppe Direct. They're not your average butcher. Butcher Shoppe Direct sources premium cuts from over 5 continents: Argentina, Japan, New Zealand, Spain, the US, and right here in Canada. Whether it's a tomahawk steak from Australia or melt in your mouth Wagyu from Japan, they bring the world's best to your backyard. And here's the game changer. Every order is cut fresh on the day of delivery. No sitting in a freezer, no guesswork, just top quality meat, expertly prepared and grilled ready. Planning a cookout? Check out their handcrafted burger patties and small batch sausages, perfect for taking your barbecue from good to unforgettable. And right now, you can save 15% off of your first order. Just visit butchershopdirect.com and use promo code EatingWild15 at checkout. Plus, get free delivery on all orders over $250. That's EatingWild15 to save, and free delivery when you stock up. Butcher Shoppe Direct. Premium, fresh, delivered. Welcome, everybody, to part 1 of Coach's Corner. I will be joined by Coach Gagnon, my co-host, Christopher Showtime Johnson. Stay tuned. Part 1 of Coach's Corner is coming up right now. We are live. We're on YouTube today as well, folks. It's a little bit different for us. We're actually in front of the camera, but it's great to be here with you, Siege. We've had an action-packed month, brother.
Buddy, I don't think I've been on in about 6 episodes. I've been so busy, and I have to give you kudos, first of all, holding it down I know you're a bass guy, but you're not like a hardcore bass guy.
Nope.
And the fact that you went to one of the biggest I think the biggest Canadian fishing tournament, 50 G's on the line, and you didn't have me or Lou or Dan there. And buddy, you're interviewing sticks and you're holding your own, man.
Buddy, it was, you know what, Siege, that's a great way to open the show, because I wanted to touch on it, and it was an eye-opener for me because, as you know, our friends from the north, which again, we're going to get into, our guest of the day, they've been fishing tournaments. And again, these guys have been fishing their whole lives, but they just recently got into bass fishing like not too long ago in tournaments. And, to watch these guys evolve, especially like Gags and Coach and these guys when they were smashing these giants on like Ned rigging and finesse fishing, this was an absolute eye-opener for me, because when you're around guys like Bob Azumi and Cooper Gallant, the Johnson brothers, the Joeys of the world, and even though I would say it was more of it wasn't 50 G's was on the line. Yes, everyone's heard 50 G's, but you had Coop fishing with his pops. That's what I mean? And when you can enter a tournament as an Elite Series pro, but to get to fish with your father on home soil from what I heard, is the best smallmouth fishery in the world.
30-pound bag?
30-pound bags. There was a dirty 30 on day 2, Siege. And
there's nothing dirty about that 30.
It's mental.
That is like crazy.
So I got to tell you guys quickly, these guys rolled in on day 1, and again, I got to do the live with Moose, and I'm watching these guys pop in front of my face on the live. I've never been on anything like that. It was like being on a panel on ESPN. It was so cool. And the first group of guys came in because, fish priority was so important to these guys, making sure that these fish were surviving and being let go properly. Kingston was big on that. Moose had his hands full, making sure that if this was going to be a yearly thing, that they, taking care of these fish was the number one priority, and the anglers knew that. So we had a boat come in early, Siege, and they weighed in probably at around 2:30. Most boats were coming in at 3. Siege, it was a 24-pound bag, and they were pissed off.
Jeez.
They're like, yeah, we had to come in. We want to make sure these fish got fizzed. And they were just, whatever, 2 guys. I don't know if they were pros or anything, but 24 pounds. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, that is not good. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I looked over, and I'm talking to, who was it? It was Scotty Martin. Scotty Martin looks at me, and he goes, you know what, Smash? He's like, it's a decent bag. I'm not going to say it's a great bag. It might get him to Championship Sunday. And I'm thinking, wow. So to put in perspective, folks, that body of water produces hogs From what I heard from all the pros, best fishery in Ontario for smallies. Obviously, you got the Big Lake, then you got the St. Lawrence River, which the Johnson brothers have won, back-to-back years in. And, to interview some of those guys was so surreal for me, Siege. Next year, I hope we can be a part of it again.
Yeah,
but
man.
It was awesome.
And I was really looking forward to see how you were going to fillet these bass and cook them up because you are a chef. And we're kidding. We don't condone harvesting smallies.
I probably would have got my neck slit.
Yeah, Kingston would have canceled that sponsorship.
Yeah. Who's eating wild here? What the hell are they doing here?
But buddy, you knocked it out. Fist pump.
I appreciate
Good
that,
job
Siege.
on that. And it was great to see you doing that. And I saw you had a goodie bag here and there that we might be having a giveaway from Choppy Water Baits.
Choppy Water's great husband and wife duo there, and just some of the local people that were there. Again, like Lemoore Outdoors hooked me up with a sick barbecue that I'm going to bring to the hunt camp this year. They really want us to try out this barbecue. It's not really a prototype, but they just started making it, and toodle to those guys for hooking me up with that, Johnny. And I'll tell you, Siege, it was a blast, and I can't wait to be a part of it again.
So our next move now that you finished, you wrapped that up, you knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
Our next sponsorship for tournament, we're shifting sides here. We're going from smallies to muskie.
I'll tell you, man. Davey G, if David Gray, I know you're listening, bud. I hope you're okay. If anybody follows David Gray on Instagram, you'll see that he had himself a little bit of a scare.
Yes.
It was a 49.5, was it?
It's 49.5. Yeah, the upper 40s for sure. And I'm not going to say what body of water it was on, but follow Dave Gray, follow the Muskie Brawls, the tournament we were talking about.
Yep.
And the video now, he collabed with us on the video, and it's on our Instagram page, and it says viewer discretion, sensitive thing. Check that out. But the thing with Dave Gray is amazing is he's like, he's a big boy. He's a guy's guy, but he's not afraid to show the mishaps on the boat.
Right.
Anyone else would have just shown, and by the way, the boat side fish that smashed it. The video is amazing.
It is. It's like
most people would cut off that video right then, and they wouldn't have showed what happened afterwards with his thumb. And if this guy didn't have bolt cutters in arm's reach, oh my God!
And you could actually see the X-ray of the hook right in the bone.
Yes.
And I remember we texted him because we were out in Georgian Bay, and I think we had a few pops. And we're like, let's call Davey G. We got a problem. Every time we have a few pops, we always want to call our friends and bother them. And our guest coach, which we're going to get to soon, he's been part of those phone calls.
Yes.
And we call our wives.
Yeah.
We're like, we got a problem when the foreskins get together with stupid phone calls when we're looped. But we wanted to call him because he was under the knife. He might have had surgery for that.
And I learned a lesson from that video to always have bolt cutters in arm's reach in the front of the boat and the back guy.
Yeah.
The back guy that's casting, because, man, that made me cringe. But it's the tournament we're talking about. It's the Muskie Brawl, and everyone's got to enter that thing.
You got to enter the brawl. It's now open to the public. They're anticipating a great showing this year. I believe it is 1 week later, Siege, than
it's November 7th, 8th,
yep.
and 9th. And if you want to register, you just go on to Fish Donkey, the app. And then once you sign up on that app, just look for Muskie Brawl 11th Annual Tournament. And then you can do your registration from there. Everything's done. And there's big money. There is big money. There's big fish. There's everything. And Tone and I had the privilege of going there last year. And a lot of people ask us, they're almost intimidated to fish this tournament because they think, it's muskie. These guys are all like, real muskie heads and all that stuff. You can be a multi-species fisherman and take home the trophy. The guy that won it last year, I'm not discrediting him by any means. Brandon, he was a Northern Ontario guy. Good stick. He's never fished LSE before.
No, and I believe he got him jigging with a Bondi bait, Siege.
You're not supposed to tell that on
Don't
air.
care.
Brandon's going to kill you.
Don't care. Secret's out, folks. I'll give you the info.
What I'm getting at is he's never fished that body of water, and he took it home. So anyone has a chance at this, because it's Lake St. Clair, just get that rubber, get the rods, and just in the same time, it's not only a tournament, it's almost like a concert.
It's a brotherhood, man. I got to tell you guys, being a part of that Muskie Brawl, listen, I'm not even going to sit here and bullshit anybody. The Muskie Brawl, we used to book our Lake St. Clair trips around it.
Yes, we didn't want anything
It was
to do
chaos,
with it.
right? And there's been times a coach and Gags even came up, and we had our own group going out. And when you actually are a part of this, like we were last year, where we sponsored the event, we fed the anglers in the morning. It was awesome. Just to let people know, we will be dropping news what we will be doing this year, but it will be food related at some sort,
and not muskie sandwiches,
not a muskaloon smash. But we will be doing something for the anglers, whether it's hot coffee in the morning. Come visit the E-Dub truck. We're gonna have sandwiches. And listen, there's 3 different areas that you can fish in this tournament on Lake St. Clair. You got Bell River, you got the Thames, and then you can go Detroit River as well. And there's huge news, Siege. I don't know if you dropped the news, bud.
What? I'm waiting.
You're cricketing me? What's your problem? You don't even know what you pressed. I don't. That could have been the air horn, man. Don't mess with my board, bud.
Well, the crickets are waiting. What's the huge news?
Well, I just said it. Listen, we've already been called out. We've already been called out.
Oh, boy.
Yes, sir. Smash Maleka, Showtime Johnson,
Top Dog
Pereira, possibly Hookset. We'll see how he's feeling. We have entered the brawl. We are competing in this brawl. So listen up, folks.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to tell you this right now. You watching this on the tube or you're listening in your car right now.
Yeah.
Smash Maleka is listen. I'm a doctor out there.
Okay, going. Here we go.
Davey
man.
G, if you're listening, we're buds. We're doing this all in here.
Yeah.
52, 51, couple 49s.
Yeah.
Sign the check, put Smash's name on it, say La Vie. I'll see you at the Cove.
So our side bets are against John and Cole and the other guy from Angling Sports.
Hold on a sec.
Angling Sports.
We got breaking news, guys.
What's the breaking news?
We got breaking news.
Oh.
We got breaking news. Hold off there, Siege. We got breaking. I'm bawling my eyes out right now.
Hit the button.
Yeah, you better.
He's coming in, folks. It is the one and only Daniel Hookset Martins. He's just entered the podcast room.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Hookset. He's in the room. We're going to get to him shortly. But you just mentioned,
yes,
there's a chair. Let's get Hookset set up here. There's a chair. And listen, those guys called out the wrong group of guys.
You know what, Tone? They didn't call. We called them out. Okay.
You called them out? Are you baked? Why would you? Those guys are sticks.
Yeah, but the best thing is
those guys are sticks, but they're bass fishermen.
That's right. They're bass fishermen, and we're a bunch of middle-aged podcasters. So let's go toe to toe. So we're doing a bet with them, and it's all fun, right? It's we're gonna do a little bit of stakes versus fishing gear on the line, but it's gonna be a great time, man.
Well, you called them out. Now we have a problem.
And they told you to stay in the kitchen.
Yes, actually, Coach was in the car with me, and he's like, hey man, he's like, you guys are getting called out? Like he thought there was beef going on.
We love it.
I was like, no, there's no beef going on.
They're great guys.
So I think that the deal is going to be where we got to provide them with a Butcher Shop box of meat.
Yeah,
and they're going to give us a gift card at their shop.
A couple G Loomises, maybe Tranks. How about the Stella?
Was that good?
Okay.
Is the Stella good?
Yeah. Well, you were just hanging out with Corey Johnson. I'm sure he could tell you what the Stella is.
Well, you're the only CJ I like to hang out with.
Hey, man, that means a lot to me, man.
I'll tell you. But listen, I got to talk to you about Chris Johnson as well. Me and Hookset got hooked up by him. We'll get into that a little bit later on.
Let's get into that later.
Appreciate that. But yeah, the Muskie Brawl, folks, make sure that you guys join. Get that, the donkey, what's it, the Fish Donkey app?
The Fish Donkey app. Register. I think there are already over 100 people in it. And like I said before, don't be just nervous of entering. You can cast from shore and enter this tournament and still win. I think the last couple of years, we call them shore ninjas. I don't know if that's politically correct nowadays, but shore guys are coming top 3 and walking out with 5 Gs.
One guy won big fish. I think it was 5 Gs. I could be off. Maybe it was 25 hundo, but whatever it was, this guy is casting from shore and he walked away with a payday. And you know what? I got a new respect for those guys too, hanging out in the mornings, feeding these guys. There's a lot of work that they do too. And even like the way they take care of their fish, they got their rubber mats out and the fish comes, they take a picture of it on the app and
it's all between Dave and Graham and their whole crew. Each one of them brings a different piece of the puzzle and they have their strengths and the girls that are there too, they're sticks too. I love seeing that, being a girl dad. So everyone look into it, join it. Next thing you know, you're going to be having a concert with Hookset Martins.
Huge concert, and he's got a voice of an angel.
He does. Should we break?
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will introduce our guest. But Siege, just before we end this, I know we talked a bit about CISA. We talked about the brawl. One thing I do want to mention before we go to break is there is limited like this muskie brawl is not like once he gets the boat, he's full.
Yeah.
So get onto that, join as soon as you can because it does fill up pretty quick.
And the prizes, Tone, I don't want it, what Waterwolf is giving him. I don't know if we can tell them, but Mike from Waterwolf, like the prize
stepping up.
Like, I mean, there's prizes, and I feel like we're on the Price is Right now, but it's amazing.
Amazing. Okay, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a special guest here in the studio with us, and we can't wait to chat with him. Hey, listen, hunting season's here, brother. We can't wait to dive right into it. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, Eating Wild listeners, are you still searching for that perfect boat?
Xtreme Marine London has got you covered with new and used boat sales, service, and professional installation of marine electronics and accessories. Visit their London or Kingsville, Ontario locations today and get ready to make waves and catch that fish of a lifetime.
Xtreme Marine is your one-stop marine shop. Check them out at www.extrememarinelondon.com and follow their journey on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to tell them that the Eating Wild Boys sent you.
And we're back, folks. We're back. Welcome back to the Eating Wild podcast. Smash Maleka, co-host Showtime Johnson.
Hey,
Siege, we're sitting next to one of our mentors, brother.
Yeah, he's not a guest.
He's not a guest. He's a brother.
From another mother.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, welcome to the Eating Wild podcast, live in studio from North Bay, folks. Come on. That was the wrong one. Oops, hold on, wait. That's more for Coach.
Yeah.
It's magical.
Look at this guy, magical Coach. Thanks for coming down to the studio, brother. What brings you down in this part of town, man? What's going on?
I had to come and check out the hype about this Eating Wild podcast.
Don't believe the hype. I think there's a song about that.
There's no hype, but we do have an audience.
Yes.
We have an audience right now that the camera's not picking up right now. Daniel Hookset Martins is here.
Cool.
He's in the room.
Dan's here, man.
Yeah, he's here. He's watching, folks. You might not be able to hear him, but he is here. And Coach,
How's that Corona?
looks ice cold, doesn't it?
Sure does.
It sure does.
Sure does.
But listen, you made the trip down. It's nice that you can make your way down south and visit. You know, we got the golf together yesterday, catch up, and you're also visiting our good friend Sean Baltzer. Just to give people the back end of the story, we've known Coach for, oh my God, I don't even know how many years.
I don't recognize Coach not in camouflage.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. He's wearing a nice purple shirt.
Yeah.
I'm sure you see the Northern Coach,
Sometimes he's got the harmonica around his neck. And I know I got to remind people when we ask at the end of every episode
That's right.
for us to tell Coach to get that tune started. That is you, brother. And we wrote that song together. I'm not even going to take any credit for that song, by the way.
Take some.
But I might have been in Florida Keys with this man right here, and he had the guitar out, Siege, and next thing you know, we got the song, we had the Fish and Fire song. It was awesome, and talented as you are, brother. Thanks for coming down here.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be here.
So remember when we got into hunting, and Coach was just getting more into fishing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, you guys want to go hunting? Really? You want to?" Because you had the fishing bug. Because Coach, you were you did everything with hunting.
You guys were sticks at the time, so I wanted to learn from you guys.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? He's calling me a stick. I'm down.
Well, I think he pointed at me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
We did say sticks,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
as
Stick.
Dan's a stick.
Dan's here. Sticks. I got it. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Coach, you're waterfowl. You taught us everything in waterfowl. We were on the phone with Pete Bowman earlier, and I said if it wasn't for you, we would probably be shooting ducks with slugs. Like we were clueless.
Right.
And man, like waterfowl, deer. What is your poison? Like what is the one you really, if you have free time and you're not on the water, what are you going for?
Probably whitetail now.
Yeah.
Waterfowl was definitely my jam forever. my dad was an avid waterfowler, so we picked up all the
Yeah.
all the goods from him. But that is definitely something I lived for. I couldn't wait for opening day.
Yeah.
Got all the gear ready. Decoys were strung up. Made sure all the no leaks in the chest waders, stuff like that. Buying shells.
Were you
whatever.
mostly doing waterfowl from like blinds or like boats or?
It was always water.
Yeah.
We lived on Lake Nosmondsing growing up as kids. It was good. There was a good flyway at the time. I'm talking 30 years ago.
Right.
So, we had our little tinner with our 9-horse and,
Oh, yeah.
We'd load up. We were just, we'd load up our decoys and bomb across the lake. It would take us probably close to an hour to slow boat across the lake in the dark. But we knew the lake like the back of our hands, and we would just, we'd have, we'd just blind up on shore. Like we never really built blinds or anything, but there was really only a couple spots on the lake at the time where we could hunt. So
You've showed us pictures of ducks that you've got taxidermy over the years, and some of them I can't remember. Like, what's like the rarest duck that you kind of have got?
truthfully, the rarest duck would have been on Nas. There was a group of 4 of us, and it was early season. Mallards were heavy. We were having a great time. We're popping a bunch of greens, and anyways, it got a little heavy. We gathered all the ducks. We headed back. We'd always gather at my one buddy's place. He had a nice shop. We would process all the birds there, and they had picked them up a bunch up, and then we had some in our boat and stuff. So we kind of all met, and we started gathering up the ducks, and there was a hen in the pack, and I'm like, oh, this is odd. What's this hen doing here and stuff? And we brought it up, laid everything out on the table, and it was a shoveler duck, and I'd never seen anything like that. It's got that round paddled bill on it.
Right.
It's just like a hen mallard to me. I've never seen another in my life. I've never
Really?
shot another in my life. It was just, I don't know, a rare thing that happened on that lake that day. And
Do you get many rare ducks out there though, Coach? Like, can you go out there and target? Obviously you grew up there, the area well, but you said obviously mallards is probably the more, biggest production of birds out in that area. But can you go out there and just specifically target a certain bird, or is it just one thing? You're at the spot and whatever's coming into the deeks, you're popping.
right, well, early season you're generally hunting ponds. Like we would stay off the big lakes till the migration would start. Like guys would be deer hunting in November, and I'm out there on the water banging ducks because that's what I wanted to do.
That's like me.
Yeah.
You guys are going for bucks and stuff.
Yes. Quack.
But lake hunting and pond, like the ponds are frozen by that time.
Right.
And I mean, these things are coming in, you've got your whistlers and your golden eyes and your, all your northern ducks coming, and you're shooting a much heavier shot.
Right.
Their feathers are super thick on them, and they're coming in droves, like it's flocks of, 20, 40, 50 at a
Wow.
time sometimes, when the migration is really on.
Right. And I asked you this earlier in the cart, the weather. So like, I know duck just opened up on the 15th. By the time this airs, we're just still in the first week of the season. But with this weather, with this warm weather, does it affect patterns at all with these birds? Because it has been like I think we had 27 like this week.
We did.
And I'm not sure if that's opening day was on Monday.
Sure.
Is that change anything or the patterns of these birds at all?
Well, the local ducks are going to stay local. Unfortunately, in my neck of the woods, over the last, 10, 15 years, people feed birds. A lot of these birds, for some reason or another, have the generations of birds have ended up staying.
Oh.
And it's kind of a sad thing. You're driving in January and you're seeing ducks flying around North Bay. Like it's
Really?
they just ship up at the water processing plant out in North Bay there. So
I've noticed that with geese
they don't
too.
know, they don't know to migrate because
Right.
the parents have never migrated.
Right.
Now. But it's kind of a sad thing to see, really, because the natural process of the migration doesn't happen anymore. So it's really what goes on. But the pattern in terms of weather, just a couple weeks ago back home, I could hear some geese flying, and they're getting banged up pretty hard by now by my place because they opened up, for long weekend.
Your place is boom.
Not my place, sorry, my area, but
your
the
area.
first weekend, the long weekend of September, they're getting banged up pretty bad. So a lot of them birds have weathered. The flocks have gotten pretty small, and they're starting to go. But the flocks I was hearing, they're a kilometer up in the air, and they're V'd up and they're flying south, and I'm thinking this is really strange. And specifically last Sunday on our fall classic, we were bass fishing on the lake,
Right.
and I could hear the whistlers flying, and they're ripping around some islands and flocks of 30, 40 ducks, and I'm like, fish on, look at this. I'm like, look at the whistlers over there.
Right.
And we're fishing in shorts.
Wow.
So to answer your question, like, I don't know what's happening up north. I haven't really been following, like I'm talking, Moosonee and then Timmins, it all stems from that migration starting. So they must have gotten some really cold weather up north, as we call north, but
Right.
but I can't predict it. But generally they're starting to migrate now, regardless.
Right.
So in terms to answer your question, I wouldn't know scientifically.
You know what? Yeah, go ahead, Siege.
When you harvest a duck, my personal is I love wood ducks. I love woodies. I wish they had the same breast size as the mallards.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have one that you like? Oh, I can't wait to cook this one up. Is there?
It's funny. The mallards are great. That's kind of your go-to because you get them most of the time. But the woodies and the teals I really like.
Yeah.
The smaller breasts, I don't know, for some reason they seem to cook. They grab the flavor a lot better. Especially some of the bigger sized mallards, and some of them are big, especially the local ones because they're fed all year. But
Yeah.
I find it's really hard to get the meat cooked to get that gamey taste out that people don't tend to like. I don't mind it, but the smaller breasts, like the woodies and the teals, they're just unbelievably.
I remember this guy was the first one we thought he was playing a joke on us when he said, "Yeah, man, you just used Italian dressing the night before."
Yeah.
Because we thought there was a whole science before. He just opens the fridge with the bag. We get some BBs out, there's some
gotta clean 'em up.
BBs. He shows us that. And he's like, zesty Italian. He just like, let's do this for 24 hours. And I'm like, we're being bamboozled.
People in Florida do that on their snapper, on their kingfish. Like I've seen that Italian dressing thing, Siege, on different recipes, even with beef. Like people are doing it because it's got the vinegar, it's got the little bit of
oil.
spice, the oil, the salt content, the pepper. So there's so many different flavors going with Italian dressing that I see how it works. I can see how you can get that flavor. And again, like there's so many different recipes. I know that one thing that you taught me the very first time we went duck hunting, we went out on Barton Lake, and it was so fun. And that's what kind of got the blood going for me when it came to duck hunting.
Yeah.
And the first thing you did was the salt water.
Yeah.
And you put that brine in, and you were like, it's very important because it draws the blood out of the meat. Am I correct with that?
Absolutely.
And would you say, and I think we made this mistake with a partridge the first season, where it was like we got one, we harvested it right away, and the meat was
We wanted to eat it really
right
fresh.
away. But with duck, it's similar, right? You want to take the time, put it in that brine, and it really helps it.
And to chill it for a couple days. I know we touched on that bird, at the earlier part of your podcast,
Right.
many moons ago, because you guys are hot celebrities now. But,
Oh,
Huge.
yeah.
But,
yeah, we got Dan Martin's wife. That's our
but it's
number
like
one
anything,
fan.
But being a chef,
Yep.
your standard beef is aged 30 days.
Yep.
It's the same concept.
Good point.
As that. So
It is. And-
hanging deer, same thing.
I will say this too: the duck breast that we work with, it's farmed, so we're getting bigger breasts, 16 ounces, sometimes 18 ounces, and you get this really big, fat cap on them where you got to you score it and you salt it. But with your breast, you're breasting these right out. You're cleaning it up, so the meat almost looks purple.
It does.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you cooked it up for me. I remember we were at Fish Sean's place, and it was incredible, man. It was like, wow, this is like amazing that we got to eat our first duck that we, you don't know whose bird it was. That probably wasn't mine, but I was too busy shooting gags in the face.
Oh, boy.
But that's another story for another pod. But no, honestly, it was amazing. And to learn that from you was incredible. And that's where I honestly think the nickname Coach came.
He was very patient.
Very
with us,
patient. And I think he actually hunted with Dan first that night.
He was very patient. We had no idea to lead a duck. I always thought put the bead on it, right on it, and shoot. And I'm wondering why the BBs are going past their butt end. I wasn't leading it, and you're very patient with us. And you're right, Tony. He's our coach.
Yeah, coach. And I have a question for you that I wanted to ask you the first time we had you on, and I don't even think I touched on it, but you are a magician caller. And I think it's the vocals from your singing background. And we talk about it all the time because it's like, we'll be sitting down, we'll have a chat, and you'll hear a goose just flying. And next thing you know, Coach is calling. I won't even try to attempt it.
Try it, Tom.
No, I can't do it. Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But you have the talent in calling these in. Now, is this a thing? Is there such thing as over calling a bird?
Absolutely. Less is more.
Less is more.
For sure.
Let's touch on that because I sat next to you 2 years ago, me and you. I remember that. And there was something, we went bright and early. We sat and we waited, and you were having a full-out conversation with this duck.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
And Siege, I kid you not, man, there was a duck. It was we couldn't see. It was still dark.
Right.
And he was chirping, and Coach was like, we were still as hell. I was up against the tree. I'll never forget it. And you literally sounded off one of your duck calls, and it responded instantly. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, Coach is just going to keep going. But you were like, let it go. You waited a bit, and you fired off another call about 5 to 10 minutes later, and it responded right away. In my head, I'm thinking, why aren't you like constantly doing this? And you told me after, you said, sometimes you shouldn't be over calling these ducks, especially when they're flying by or you want them to fly by. Most people would grab their caller like me and Lou, and we'll just start. If we don't see anything, we think that we can just call them in from anywhere, but that could actually be the wrong thing to do.
Sure. Well, she was bedded already because we walked up on her. It was dark. We were kind of setting up.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was keep her there. It was all I was trying to do was keep her attention. So because a live duck is better than any decoy,
Right.
anytime. And those hens call in the ducks if they want them to come in, especially if she's looking for mates and stuff.
Happy hour.
So all I was doing was just keeping her attention. But to overcall that, she's just going to get up and fly off. And it doesn't matter if it's dark, they're gone.
They're gone.
So the fact that we got up to the edge of that pond without scaring her, I just wanted to keep her there.
Incredible.
So that's more natural, whereas if you overcall, that's not like a natural environment.
It's not. Like,
it's a lot like fishing. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like if you're working a bait, like it's like a Ned, if you're just pop, 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 but if you're doing a little twitch, something that's natural, that's cool.
I
man.
catch just as many just leaving it still.
Let it do its thing.
On a Ned for your reference. But
Yeah.
a lot of times you just throw it out and, you're either looking at the sonar or you're checking your screen and all of a sudden your line just...
Yeah.
Damn it. But then you catch on to that, right?
Yeah.
But less is more, I find, all the time with calling. And if you're better off to not even blow in your call if there's ducks coming, especially if they're coming into your direction.
Because the natural call, like their natural, obviously, like you said, that if they're there and they're making a noise, that's the noise you want.
Sure. People are amazing at calling ducks. Like they'll turn them around and just do that kind of stuff, which I've done in the past. But a lot of these ducks are already committed. Most of the time, I'll quack once or twice,
Right.
get their attention, and if I know they're coming, I just let them do their thing. But sometimes it's hard to be patient because they'll circle and circle, and if you just start quacking and quacking and quacking and thinking they just fly off. From my experience,
Right.
And decoys. You mentioned decoys. Is there too many decoys, or is there not enough decoys? Like I know it's crazy. You can go to any shop and you buy a box of decoys, comes with maybe 5 or 6. I'm not sure exactly how many, but there was one year I remember we had that pond littered.
Yeah.
It was like, I remember we took so much time putting out those decoys. Can that be something where you put too many out or you can never have enough?
I find pond hunting just a few little packs, 4 here and 3 there. When you're lake hunting, late fall especially, like I'll spread them out like 100, 200 birds, but I've got a line, usually I'll J hook it or something, 100-yard line. Like you can't even shoot at the far end of the line, but them fall birds, they just grab that line and they just rip right into your J's or your patch, or it's just a straight line. You just run a straight line. There's no secret to it in the fall.
With your spread, Coach, are you primarily just using like ducks? Are you throwing geese decoys in there as well?
I will in pond, like early in the year, they're especially if you're night hunting, they'll come in bed.
Right.
Yeah, I'll throw some, at least couple of them. 4 is lots. Even 2 is enough because they're coming in into bed with the other ones, right?
Okay.
You'll notice in this generally, especially if you're pond hunting, they only come 2 at a time,
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like it's not like your big field hunts where there's, 20, 30 coming in at a time. So.
And now let's talk about your weapons of choice. Are you like more of a semi-auto pump?
I've graduated. I've gotten lazy, so I have graduated myself to a semi. Yes.
Right.
20, 30 years ago, I would have probably spent too much money on shells because I, didn't have the patience. And I was just racking pumps left and right. But.
I found too when all three of us started with pumps, I was more, I don't want to say patient, but I really picked my shots more. Yeah. And knowing when you have a semi and you have the 3 at your fingertip, you're just kind of like, I don't know. I found that I took more time more with a pump.
For sure. I mean, you really only have your first shot is your best shot, as you know, with any shooting sport. But your second shot and really your third shot, you're just like I said, you're generally going to wound the bird or obviously miss. But the third shot comes in handy if your first shot. If you don't make the kill right away, you can at least
get the kill shot.
So we're around similar age, you and I, Coach, and I wasn't duck hunting when I was younger like you. Were you hunting the days when you could use lead?
Absolutely.
And how was that like compared to steel?
As I got to be a better shot as I got older, didn't seem to be as much of a difference. But in the early parts, I found I wounded more ducks in the start of the steel era.
Yeah.
Probably because I was not as good as a shot, or maybe I was shooting farther with lead because you could. I don't know. It just seemed to hit harder.
That's what I've heard
from what I experienced. But I mean, I don't even know the difference anymore now. Just, because that's all we have. But I mean, you become a better shot. They make some pretty heavy loads out there, but I'm still kind of shooting, loads and numbers that, slightly just bigger than lead I was at the time. But, I really like a small shot when I'm early season hunting. The feathers are really light on the birds,
right?
And you generally get more BBs in the. So why not increase your odds? If you're gonna make
Yeah, mentioning the from graduating to a semi, I went right to a semi, coach, and it was weird because I think Dan got the Mossberg pump. That was the first gun from our group.
Great gun.
And that was the first one that I got to shoot because I think the first year that we actually went duck hunting, I had to borrow a gun, as everyone knows the story, one of Fishan's. And I felt that after I learned how to shoot with Dan's pump for the first couple times, and I was with you. I mean, we were all together, and I felt that I was having trouble with my hand-eye coordination on the second shot. And you hit it dead on when you're like, your first shot is going to be your best shot, because I felt like when I got into a semi-siege, my second shot, because it was there, I had a chance.
Right.
Now, I'm not a great hunter, as everyone will, you can laugh at. I'm pretty dumb, to be honest, but
don't kid yourself, man. You've come back with a Baker dozen of woodies.
I popped a few. I popped a few.
Yeah.
But what the point I'm trying to make is for people listening, would you say, if you are first starting out and you want to get into duck hunting with a shotgun, would you say it doesn't matter what you go to right away? Because for me, I felt like going to my first gun as a semi-automatic, I think I felt more comfortable and more confident, if that makes sense to you.
Sure. I mean, the first important thing is to get a gun that fits.
Right.
I don't care what kind it is, whether it's a semi or pump, break action. That's all I used to hunt ducks with, was a break action single shot. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, a pump slows a person down. It's all about taking your time, and as much as the action you seem is fast, you still have to. It does slow down when you're actually doing it. So yeah, the pump slows the person down.
More affordable too, right?
It's
Coach?
very much more affordable, and really a lot more rugged.
Yeah.
Easier to clean.
Yeah, probably less problems.
Maintenance, less maintenance. Yeah, a lot less problems with them. It's just a whole different technology, but the pump action, in my opinion, or double barrels. I mean, break action doubles. I mean, I still have mine.
They're gangster, man.
They
I
really
love
are.
that. I like the when they.
But a break action, you got 2 shots and it's over. But you have to stop. You got to check the safety. You got to crack the barrel, take the 2 shells out. It's just slow down.
Yeah, and then there's times where we'd be sitting and you see no action, And then half hour before, you got to put guns down. Next thing you know, these birds are flying in, and I felt myself struggling to grab my shells and reload and get ready, because you feel like that you might not get that other opportunity, right? And I'm just laughing because I could see myself just grabbing shells out of my pocket, and they're falling on the ground. I'm freaking out because this flock came in and I missed out on it. Yeah. But patience, I guess.
And we're not fishing in flat land by any means. We're up to our knees in a beaver dam, and everything's not flat where you can put everything. So you really got to take your time. And Coach always taught us have everything accessible right away, because when you get caught up in that moment, the last thing you want to do is bend over to get shells,
right.
Rather than just do that.
Hey boys, have you guys ever been to Gagnon Sports out in Oshawa?
Have I? That place is a gold mine. Picked up my new bow there last weekend. Hunting, fishing, archery, they've got everything.
Boys, don't forget the indoor shooting range. Gagnon's not just a store, it's an experience. They've been doing it right for over 50 years.
Seriously? I thought it was just another outdoor shop.
Just another shop. Buddy, it's family owned, Canadian proud, and huge. I've spent entire afternoons in there.
Or skip the trip and shop online. GagnonSports.com ships across Canada, fast, smooth, and packed with top-notch gear.
All right, I'm sold. Gagnon Sports trip next weekend?
Only if we hit the indoor range first, so I can show you guys how to shoot.
Gagnon Sports, 50 years of adventure and counting.
And don't forget to tell them the Eating Wild Boys sent you.
We're geeking out with you with waterfowl because you're fine. But let's transition to right now. You mentioned earlier whitetail seems to be your thing. Yeah. Do you look more forward to rifle season or bow season when it comes to that?
I've actually kind of gotten away from the rifle hunting in the last, I'd say 3-4 years. Just because I've been enjoying the bow hunting so much. Obviously the longer season, but I find that the 2 weeks of rifle that I have back home, it just kind of almost gives me a chance to reset. And I really enjoy the December hunt. It's my favorite time.
Right.
But the rifle, I'm not against it. I don't hate it. I really like the early October deer hunting, and then late into the season when there's a foot of snow. And
you know what, Siege? I actually got to experience my first rifle season last year with Lou. We went up, and it's always been hard for us because it's right in muskie season too. It's always generally around the time that we go up to Lake St. Clair. And, me and Lou had an opportunity to come up, and I was with your brother, Uncle P. And it is fun as hell.
Did you get any tone?
You know what, Siege? I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen, it was just different for me because, again, Coach and Fish Sean and Uncle P and all those, guys that we have up there that have tons of experience and we're learning from, it's always been that bow because that's when we do our generally our fall trip where we have the Northerners versus Southerners.
Oh boy,
which we're making a belt for. We get popped every year, but we're making a belt for that. And I'm the one that usually starts the fight, but usually it doesn't end up good for us. But the timing hasn't been there. But now that I got to go last year, I feel like I need to make time for it because it's not even about, it's just different. You're not in the tree, we're down on the ground, and you still get that buck fever hits you when something comes in. And I think the biggest difference for me, Coach, was the distance. I think that when with my experience, the one time when I was in that ground blind and that deer was 200 yards away, and you're looking through your scope and you're shaking like crazy, and it's your heart starts popping and you're looking, you're like, okay, there's a doe, and you're like, okay, well, and then you got your head up and you're moving around looking for that buck. But it's crazy because it's similar, but it's not. It's totally different in a sense, the way I feel. And again, I didn't get to pull the trigger because I didn't get that buck. But I remember when I was done and we met back at camp. And again, the days are shorter. So you just it feels like you get that smaller window and you almost want that time to keep moving. But it feels like it's just getting darker and darker. And you're looking and you're like, come on, right? Where, again, we usually will attend our stand at, let's say, 4:45. I know Dan usually goes out there for his nap out in his tree, and he's there for a good couple hours. Sometimes he's like, I just want to go up there just to relax. And, you know, he'll go early. He'll sit up there, say 3 o'clock, and you have until 6:30 sometimes. But with rifle, it's like 5 o'clock, you can't see anything. And I feel like that timing is shorter. But again, it was a really cool experience. But I think I agree with Coach where the bow is, it's a shorter distance. You're at 50 yards sometimes, and you feel closer to the animal. And, I've gotten 2 bucks in my life, and both times were with a bow, and I'm just so pumped up like you, man. And to harvest with you guys, and, Coach has been there for Dan's buck, for my 2 bucks, both times, and we get to celebrate together, and I can't even explain it, Siege. And I know you're always on the pond. You're always on the pond.
I'm always on the pond. I'm a waterfowl guy, but the first time I witnessed you getting a buck, you guys are mental, man. You guys are like I hear screaming, I hear like coyotes, I hear everything. So I get off the duck pond and I roll up, and you guys are all get the buck bottle out. And you're doing shots, and I'm like, I get this, man. You guys were like,
it's a celebration. It's a Stanley
Cup.
Fill the cup up with booze, Coach. Let's go. It's a celebration. I don't care, man. This is a celebration.
Tone's got blood under his eyes, like war markings. And I'm like, what's happening, man?
I got to tell you, Siege. So Dan got the first buck out of our group, out of the 4 of us,
right?
Okay, and I'll never forget it because I wasn't far from where he was, and when he sent the text out, said buck down. I think you might have been the first one, or Gags was the first one out to him. I don't remember. But I remember I came, and when I seen it, and I was so excited, and I didn't even pull the trigger, and I'm losing it. I'm like, I'm grabbing Dan, I'm shaking him.
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
Let's go. We did it, man. We did it. We did the hunting course together. We finally did this. But then watching you field dress, if you don't know what you're doing, it could be a friggin' mess. And I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way. Lou's a lunatic, by the way. Don't put a buck knife in that guy's hand.
Oh, God.
Because because I was with Gags, with Fish on, when I got my second one, and Lou came in later. But when he was trying, again, you guys are always teaching. It's not about coming and doing the job for us. It was like, okay, make sure with the poop sack, blah, blah, blah. And Lou comes in with the hammer fist, like he's lighting a chainsaw up. And I'm like, what are you doing, man?
He thought he was doing micro cement on the deer.
I don't know what this guy was doing, but that's a whole new thing. Like, you guys have mastered that, where, I feel like the experience you have and what you taught us in the field dressing thing, it's super important, right?
It is. Well, we're hoping that you guys will catch on sooner than later, because we're
kind of
tired of doing it.
It's like asking Lou to tie my knot last weekend. Can you guys tie my braid to my lead? Dan did it for me once, and then Lou's is better. Of course, Lou's is better. He had to show me his. But I get it, man. I mean, you teach somebody a couple times, hey, get in there, man. Get your hands dirty.
So I just got a question in from Danny Martins. Do you compound bow or a crossbow? Do you like?
You guys are going to get hammered for this. Probably I will too, but I've converted to a crossbow now.
Yeah.
Only because I just did not want to take the time to practice as well. I still practice with my crossbow. You still have to, but there's just so much more time involved with a compound bow. I respect the guys who do it, and I've done it. I've used it. I've shot, and it's a whole different game again. It's a higher level of patience. And but you get a little older, and it's you got to spend more time practicing. And I shot a real big buck with a crossbow when I was sold. So I haven't looked back. So now I'm just strictly a crossbow guy. But you're still up close. You're still doing the same thing. Still, and that's the part I like, is just being up close. There's times I'll just sit there and watch them,
Right.
Launch the boat on the big old blue today. We've got the stars lined up. They're coming out ready to play. It won't be long, they'll be pulling up fish, and we'll be serving them their favorite dish. All the